3 mistakes I did as an Instagrammer and what you can learn from it. Hi, this is Sorav Jain, your podcast host for Grow Your Influence. And in today's session, I'm going to reveal my mistakes to all of you today. The first biggest mistake was I was always in my own head, trying to do things that I would believe would work for my audience the most. I would not really research. I would not figure out what does my audience really want. So if you really want to become successful in this world of Instagram, then you need to study your audience enough. You need to understand what they want, and then you should continue delivering that to them. How do I do that now? Number one, I always look at what's really working for some of the benchmarks that I have made in this space. The second biggest mistake I did, I was always judging myself through the eyes of others. Now, people have this habit of always trolling someone or the other on Instagram. Not all the people, but there are some people who are just there sitting down trolling people. Now, either you get to listen to what they're trying to say or you just let it go. Earlier, I used to listen to them and took it very seriously, and I would come back and give them answers. But now I am at peace with them and I enjoy listening to what they're trying to say or what they're trying to comment, because it just doesn't bother me anymore. But how? So one of the tasks which I did changed the way I would look at negative comments. So I took a paper and pen and wrote down all the things that I believe audience would comment on. So every time I would create a content, I know what kind of controversies they would possibly create. So the ifs and buts of that particular piece of content, or what were my flaws that people would notice. So I started listing them down and I made peace with them. When you make peace with your flaws and when it comes your way through someone else's eyes, you actually don't really care about it anymore, because you start accepting them. You're like, yeah, you know it now, you can't really help it. So you need to get used to this, and that's a very important thing for you to do, because if you start taking those small comments into moderation, it becomes a big time challenge for your personal growth and your professional growth in the influencer world. The third mistake that I did was I was really not taking Instagram very seriously. You should be thinking, oh, am I kidding? I am not. The fact is, I was always thinking Instagram as one of the content dumping platform, and I would just create content that was very easy for me. Some of my team members would push and say, sort of, let's create drama, let's do something else. I said, see, let's do something minimal, because I don't have time. I'm an entrepreneur, and let's do something which I could finish in a quicker note. Now that's a mistake. If you are not going to take effort and don't go the extra mile to do something creative, you're going to fail right there. We started to unfold our true potential when we started to be a lot more creative, when we started to add drama, when we started to experiment with different things, we started to do some outdoor shoots, we started to do some dual roles. So magic begins when you go to that corner or to go to that edge and you take that plunge into creativity and you start to deliver content from a creative perspective. So these are 3 mistakes that I did in my Instagram journey, and I don't want you to repeat the same. So be creative, because that's what makes you unique. That's what is the differentiation that you create amidst so many people up there. Well, this is Sorav Jain signing off from the podcast number 2 of Grow Your Influence, and stay tuned for something more interesting in the next bit.